Welcome to the Warframe weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Kuva Kraken. The only way to get this weapon is by vanquishing a Kuva Lich that's wielding it. Now, just in case you don't know how to do that, don't worry, because I recently made an updated guide on hunting Kuva Liches and I will link it in the video description. The Kuva Kraken is a secondary burst fire pistol that fires 3 rounds with every burst, and it does primarily impact damage. It comes with a decent enough crit chance of 21%, an above average 2.3 times crit multiplier, and a solid 29% status chance. And other than that, it has a decent sized 21 round magazine, though you do fire 3 at a time, and it has a fairly brisk reload at 1.5 seconds. But that's not all, because while yes, the primary fire does give you a 3 round burst, there's also a unique secondary fire where if you press the secondary fire, it will fire out the rest of your magazine in a rapid burst. Another thing I will say about the Kuva Kraken is that you have to be mindful on how you use it. If you're using the primary fire, you want to be aiming down sights, otherwise the accuracy is really bad, and the secondary fire has quite a bit of kick to it, so you're gonna have to fight the recoil a lot. Now, while the damage on the Kuva version is slightly lower than it is on the standard one, it does have a bigger magazine, faster reload, much higher crit, better crit multi, and more status. Plus, since it is a Kuva weapon, it gets bonus damage based on the Warframe you spawn the Lich with. And once you factor that in, you actually end up with more damage. For the Kuva Kraken in particular, I would highly recommend getting a heat version, because the build you're most likely going to go for is going to be vital and heat. And finally, before we check out the build, I just quickly want to mention that as a Kuva weapon, it gains more mod capacity, and you also extract more mastery from it as you put on more and more forma, up to a maximum of 5. So if you want to squeeze the absolute maximum out of your Kuva Kraken and unlock the ability to install a lens, you're gonna have to put on 5 forma. Now, as I've mentioned already, the best build for the Kuva Kraken is going to be a Vital and Heat hybrid. This is a somewhat basic version of that with just primed mods, but if you really want to invest into it, you would take out Hornet Strike, put in Galvanized Shot, and you would of course run an Arcane as well. But even if you don't want to go for Galvanized mods, the Kuva Kraken is more than good enough to take on the vast majority of the game with no issues. It's just a very solid burst pistol that has a ton of, well, burst, especially with that secondary fire, so even if you run into something really beefy like a high-level Eximus with a ton of armor, the secondary fire will usually take care of them pretty quickly. Is this the best weapon in the world? No, absolutely not. It's not even the best Kuva weapons. There are better Kuva weapons out there, but it does solid damage and it's pretty fun to use. The main issue with the Kuva Kraken is its damage distribution, because while yes, it's nice to have a ton of impact when you're fighting the Corpus, as it will punch straight through their shields, it doesn't do you much good against most other things. And you can't even salvage it with Hemorrhage and turn those impact procs into slash procs because the fire rate is too high. You just don't get enough slash procs for it to be worth it. So as far as my recommendation goes, pick it up if you're looking for a solid burst pistol or if you have a Riven for it, because the disposition on it is quite high. Just make sure you get bonus heat on it and not radiation like I did. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching as always guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.